Hey guys, today I'm going to answer a question I get quite frequently from you guys. Surprisingly, it comes from my younger audience. Why are your parents letting you watch me anyway? Anyway, the question is this. I want to be a police officer. What are the steps necessary for me to become one? I wish it were easy because about 19 years ago when I first started this process, when I was just that 21-year-old kid, all I had to do is put an application in, get my phone call for an interview, a physical agility test, maybe a medical pre-screening, and go through a vetting process, which is a background process, some interviews, and then you go off to the academy and get yelled at.
What are you doing here? Are you lost in America? I don't know, sir.
Graduate and get your first assignment. But that was the good old days. Things are a little bit more complicated now, and I'm sure you know by now that there's a little bit more of a thorough vetting process. Over the last few decades, we've had a few bad apples that have misrepresented the overwhelming majority of good police officers we have. But just like in any career field, it only takes a few bad apples to ruin it for the rest of us. So with that said, the screening process, the vetting process has become a lot more difficult. First of all, the things that are coming up in backgrounds today didn't exist when I was going through backgrounds. For instance, the most taboo thing that you could have done about 18, 19 years ago was try marijuana. And that wouldn't disqualify you necessarily. It would show that, hey, you're human. You tried some things, you didn't like it, you got over it, and you realized it wasn't for you. These days, on backgrounds, I'm seeing a lot of ecstasy, methamphetamine, and some weird bath salts. Aren't bath salts for old people who have muscle aches? Anyways, as a former background investigator, I've seen some bizarre things come up in backgrounds that just make you shake your head. The selection criteria is going to be different from agency to agency, but for the most part, I can tell you this. You're going to have a pretty clean background. That means if you're serious about this career and you're one of those young people, you're going to live your life accordingly. You don't want to take any unnecessary risks that may develop into something that's going to disqualify you later. For instance, if you're not a drug user, don't experiment. It's not necessary. If you're a young driver, drive safe. And if you're just establishing credit, do yourself a favor. Don't rack up those credit card bills. Because in the vetting process, they look at things like your driving record, your financial obligations. Why? Because it shows what level of maturity you are at your age. So if you're one of those 20, 21-year-olds and you've got $30,000 in credit card debt, it probably means you're not living within your means. And if you're making bad decisions with your money, it's a good indicator that you might be making bad decisions with someone's life. Look, the job is a huge responsibility. And for some, it's a responsibility they can't handle. You're given a tremendous amount of power and authority. You can legally, justifiably take the life of someone. That's a lot of responsibility, and some people don't want that on their shoulders. So do some self-searching, self-reflection, and find out if this job is really for you. And if it is, stay out of trouble, do the things necessary to develop yourself to make yourself more competitive. What are the things that are going to make you competitive? Well, an education shows that you've got initiative and that you can finish something that you started. Even if you have a few years in the college and you think you're just ready to jump into law enforcement, that's fine too. It shows that you took some initiative and you had some desire for self-improvement, to want to better yourself. And it used to be, when I first started, an officer with a college education was an anomaly. That's a common misnomer. A lot of people think officers are dense and only got into this line of work because they weren't qualified or educated enough to do anything else. I work alongside some of the brightest, most educated people I know. I worked with a Harvard MBA, someone that went to the Claremont Business Schools. I work alongside of 3 university professors, and one sergeant colleague of mine is getting his doctorate. And yours truly has his master's degree, and I'm currently an adjunct professor at one of our local universities. Do whatever you can to enhance yourself, your selectability, and looking further down the line, maybe your promotability. When I first started this job, I never in my wildest dreams would have thought I would have attained higher education or tried to develop myself so I can promote within the ranks. I was quite content initially with being a street cop carrying a badge and a gun. I thought I was going to be on patrol forever. Look, things change. I have a wife and kids that depend on me, so yeah, advancing and furthering in my career is in my best interest and theirs. If you're out of shape, get in shape. It's not hard, unless you've got some physical limitations, and if you do, then this job probably isn't going to be one of those things where you can perform. I hate to break the news to you, but you've got to be able to perform in this job. People depend on you for their safety. Not only does the public depend on you, but your partners do too. This is a controversial statement because departments are afraid to touch on this subject. But look, physical fitness takes up a significant part of the academy. You're doing physical training every day for hours on end. It wouldn't be important in the academy if it wasn't important in your career. 18 years later, I'm still setting fitness goals for myself and trying to get in the gym and perform. This is not one of those jobs where you go to the academy, learn what you need, and do the job for the next 30 years. There is so much training involved. There's so much room for improvement in this job. You're going to continually train. You're going to have to develop yourself, not only physically, but mentally as well. You're going to find yourself one day on the witness stand with some guy that went to law school that's going to be breathing down your neck and criticizing your writing ability, maybe even your background. He or she may poke fun at the fact that you're preparing a document that's supposed to be court-worthy, that's supposed to be bulletproof, that may potentially put someone dangerous in prison. There are attorneys out there who make a living dissecting not only the document you prepare, the case that you prepare, but the officer. They want to diminish your credibility as best as they can. Why? Let's face it, there have been a few officers that have made it on the news that actually have tarnished our credibility. That's why there are a lot of guys like me out on social media trying to give law enforcement a more positive name. But look, report writing is going to be a significant portion of your job. When we watch cops or live TV, the general public seem to think we go out there, catch the bad guy, and go right back out. No. A significant portion of our job is devoted to paperwork and follow-up investigation. If you're not a strong writer, get yourself in class and figure out how you're going to develop yourself to becoming a stronger writer. The type of writing you're going to do is factual and chronological. So focus on that. Okay, so we covered your background, your physical training, and your education and writing. What's left? Oh yeah, hard work. Look, there's a lot of things you can take shortcuts on, but this job isn't one of them. If you're one of those people that like to take shortcuts in life, maybe this isn't the job for you. As a matter of fact, I highly doubt you'll even make it past the vetting process anyway. So, look, the background process is hard. It has its own natural selection process and its way of weeding people out. But if you're one of those guys that happens to slip through the cracks, do yourself a favor, do your future partners a favor, do the public a favor, and reevaluate your career choice and maybe look for something else. Guys, I hope I've been able to give you guys a little bit of insight as to what it takes to become a police officer and what it takes to be a police officer. It's a very honorable profession, and I work with a lot of guys that take the job and craft very seriously. It's a career. It's not a job. If you're looking for a job, look in the classified ads. But if you're looking towards law enforcement as a meaningful, rewarding career, then this profession might be for you. To me, it's like winning the lottery. I don't know of many other jobs out there that have the minimum qualifications it does to enter in this career field that will allow you to work a 25, 30-year career and enjoy a solid retirement. Hey, I think it's like winning the lottery. Look, I love answering your questions, so keep them coming in. You can direct message me, leave a comment, or email me. And if your question's selected, I might just answer it right here. Thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe to my channel and tell your friends to watch. I might have some information that might be useful to them. Take care.